If you're like, we have a hot tub and an arcade and we have a farmhouse and we added a neon sign and we have a modern kitchen and it's also kind of cabiny. It's like, this is so chaotic. There's so much. What story are you actually telling? So, what feeling is your property actually built around? What are you trying to help people experience and feel when they're there? So, we're going to get into it today. I'm feeling spicy about this topic because I so often am seeing short-term rental owners talk about their amenities as if they are their brand strategy. It's like we are just checking all the freaking boxes and there is no strategy behind box checking, okay? We're going to get into that today. Before we do, I do just want to let you guys know we are kicking off, if you're listening to this episode on the day that it goes live, we are kicking off a free 3-day workshop today, STR Marketing Simplified. Even if you are a boutique hotel owner, this workshop is going to support you. Although I know most of you who are that also are like in STRs as well. So anyway, this workshop this week is really designed to help you have a massive shift around reliance on OTAs and into owning your brand, building the asset in its entirety, and making sure that you have a strategy that's going to support direct bookings, right? It's great to have the direct booking website, but again, this whole episode is about not just box checking. I don't want you to just check off the fact that you have the website. I want you to actually have a way to get traffic to it as well. And inside the workshop this week, I'm going to share that with you. By the end of this week, you are going to understand how to have more ownership and control over the brand that you are building. You are going to be able to build a better branded guest experience. We're going to talk about that during this podcast today. And you are going to have a marketing strategy that will help you build your direct booking funnel and close more of those direct bookings as well. So I'm really excited to dive into all of that with you this week. STR Marketing Simplified free 3-day workshop kicks off today. If you haven't saved your seat, be sure to do so. If you already have, then great. You've been getting all of my emails about that. And I can't wait to see you live later. It's basically going to be like a little mini coaching masterclass this week. So it'll be really cool. The episode title for today was very strategic in going, the hot tub is not the strategy, you guys. The hot tub is not the strategy. Neither is the game room. Neither is the pickleball court. Like these things are not the strategy. And I really want you guys to hear this because again, I think what the OTAs have done is they have trained hosts and boutique hotel owners, etc., to be check boxers. Like you're just like checking boxes all the time. And sometimes when I go to people's direct booking sites, I'm seeing the same thing. It's like we have Wi-Fi, we have air conditioning, we have heat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing right now? Your direct booking site should be all about the brand, should be like, if I walk into your lobby of your boutique hotel and that comes with a welcome drink or something, I should feel that on your website. But instead, I'm seeing you be a box checker, and that's not what we want, right? So I think, again, even when I think back to when we got started in this industry, I think back to, okay, we started our build with, let's just actually start with the cabins. Because when we got into this industry, I've been in branding and marketing long enough to know that a hot tub is not how you position yourself. It may be a way in which you compete in the market, but it's not everything. It can't just be like, we have a house with a hot tub. Yeah. Like, that's not it. Okay. Like, why? Who cares about that? But let's go back even to the cabins. When we first started building the cabins, that was it. That's what we had. And we had the river, we had the cabins, we had a private boat ramp to get out on the river, we had the game center, and we were planning to install the pickleball/basketball court and a playground for kids, right? But those amenities they were just amenities until we gave them meaning, right? What does the private boat ramp onto the river allow someone to do? Well, now we can create stories around all of the people that fish and find their escape through fishing and enjoy those fishing trips with their good buddies, or enjoy, like, wife comes down and she's like, I'm going to read my book on the front porch, and husband is like, cool, I'm going to go fish for 17 hours. See you later. You know what I mean? So we can create stories around all of that instead of it being we have a private boat ramp. Instead, it's like, our private boat ramp allows you to enjoy fishing at the earliest time of morning when it's the most peaceful and your wife can enjoy a book on the porch, or it allows you to teach your kiddos how to fish because you can fish right off of our boat ramp. We've had a number of our guests who have caught their first fish here. So we can story tell all of that instead of it just being something that we're checking a box for, right? And when we decided to add the game center, that wasn't because I was like, we just need to add more amenities. I wasn't like, let's go check boxes on Airbnb. I was like, no, let's create an intentional story and experience around Cabins on the Cumberland, the tradition here, the fact that we want this to be a micro resort that we're really bringing people to, that they don't have to leave if they don't want to. It's here for them as long as they bring in their own food because we're 30 minutes away from a grocery store. Right? And even now with our clients in Indy, like, listen, I'll look at the amenities boxes on Airbnb and go, okay, what of these amenities fits with the guest avatar of this property? This is the other thing. What fits here with the guest avatar, with the design, with the overall feeling that we're working to create? It has to be so awareness driven and so avatar driven. So please don't think, oh, I have a hot tub, I have a marketing plan now, or oh, I have a hot tub. It may make your property inherently more enticing for people for sure, but it's not everything. And I feel like what's happening in this industry, it's like it's like the industry lie, right? What's happening right now is everybody's just trying to copy each other. We're all trying to compete on design and out design each other. We're all trying to add all of the amenities and check the boxes, add the hot tub, add the game room, add the pickleball, add the EV charger, add the cold plunge. The other thing that is happening, oh my gosh, the other thing that's happening, especially in the wellness space, I hear people all the time say, we have a little bit of a wellness vibe. So we have a sauna and a cold plunge. That's not wellness, you guys. I mean, those are wellness activities, yes, but that inherently isn't wellness until you give it meaning, until you give it structure, until you give it a branded experience, right? Amenities, the amenities are conversion tools, but they're not positioning, right? We can't just add these things without really figuring out how we position ourselves and how it all ties back into our brand, right? So again, the OTAs, they've trained you like check, 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 check. But branding is very much about the narrative and the story and the overall feeling of all of those pieces. And again, if you've added to your property a sauna and a cold plunge and it doesn't make sense, all you've done is check boxes, and that feels really disconnected from the story that you're trying to tell, right? So there's a few different layers when we're thinking about what does a branded experience actually mean. There's a few different things that I kind of want to walk you guys through. Number one is how you are positioning your property. Who is this property actually for? And not just families, not just couples. Be really specific. I'll give you some examples here. It's like the overstimulated mom who needs quiet mornings, the youth athletes who value recovery, like if you guys are familiar with the Sideline Club, I had a little bit of a hand on that one, which was really fun. Multi-gen lake families who care about nostalgia, who care about time together, right? So you are really thinking through, all right, we're thinking about that overstimulated mom. What does she need? How can we position our amenities and our overall experience so that we are meeting her needs? We are meeting her needs. And I really want you guys to hear that. Everything also has to kind of tell the same story, right? Like I mentioned a minute ago, if you're like, we have a hot tub and an arcade and we have a farmhouse and we added a neon sign and we have a modern kitchen and it's also kind of cabiny. It's like, this is so chaotic. There's so much. What story are you actually telling? So what feeling is your property actually built around? What are you trying to help people experience and feel when they're there? What emotional shift are you promising? They're arriving how and they're leaving how? They're arriving feeling overstimulated. They're leaving feeling like they actually got to breathe again. So again, language and positioning that matters, and then leveraging those to help you position your amenities effectively. Yeah. Experiential design. This is where branding and design, I feel like, go hand in hand in this really very beautiful way. But your amenities have to support the story, right? So I kind of shared with you guys Cabins on the Cumberland. Our private boat ramp is not just an amenity. It supports this sort of like river identity that we've built Cabins on the Cumberland. It's literally in our name, Cabins on the Cumberland. We are on the Cumberland River. Our entire identity is about nature and being outside and being grounded and being present in that moment and enjoying that fishing time and sharing those stories that you haven't been able to share because we're all just on our devices and connected all the time, right? So it's really supporting what we are working to convey. And then we've made very intentional design choices because of that and how we've designed the cabins in their entirety, the other amenities that we have added. This is why we didn't put TVs in every single room of the cabins. You have one TV in the living room and you can log into your devices if you so choose, right? But otherwise, no, we're not doing that. We want you to be outside. And you want to know what? The place where people spend the most time down there at the cabins, every time I've been down there, people are actually, a lot of times I see people playing pickleball, which is really fun. And we have families who will say, we've never played this before, and this was so fun to experience together, right? So we use that language as we're marketing the pickleball court. It's not just check, we have this thing. It's like you get to come play pickleball for the first time with your family and realize how fun this is, or like have a little bit of a competitive edge, like figure out who in the family is the most competitive, right? There's personality types around that. I mean, gosh, there's so many content ideas that I can think of that I'm like, we need to go record all of this. But it can be kind of fun, right? So this river first identity that I think is so important for us, and we're infusing that into every potential touch points, right? The barrel saunas for us reinforce that slow down. It is a slower way of life down here, and you can actually breathe and you can actually feel grounded, and you can feel like, oh, this is what it's all about, right? This is why we work so hard. This is what it's all about. And so the barrel saunas reinforce that. The game center reinforces group connection. And again, a little bit of that fun competitive edge, but it's like, no, we're trying to get you to connect in these very intentional spaces that we've created for you guys, that you may not get to play pool at home together. You may not get to play ping pong at home together. We want you to do that here. We want you to have those memories, and we want you to experience that. Challenge each other a little bit if you want to, right? They're the props, but the story is the main character, right? That's what it is. That's what it is. So really making sure that when you're thinking through design, you've thought through the brand. And when we do the branding process, you guys, I did a whole episode on this recently, but again, in our workshop this week, we're going to dive deep into it. It comes back to, who is your avatar? What are they dealing with? What do they want to experience? What are they hoping to gain? When they leave, how do you want them to feel? How do you want them to feel? How are they feeling before the stay, during the stay, and after the stay? You've got to outline that and then design to that. And also, as part of the branding experience, we go through and we outline what do the first 10 minutes look and feel like, and what do the signature experiences look like at your property. So for us, at the cabins, one of our signature experience is fireside nights. And so we incorporate making sure that we've got some more sticks, something that we should do. We haven't done this yet, but actually having these like fireside cards. We've done this at one of the properties that we designed, or not designed. We did the branding recently. But have fireside cards that are intentional, like fire starter conversation starters, something along those lines though, right? That encourages people, get off your phones, go outside, make s'mores, sit around the fire, sit there for hours and just tell stories with each other and encourage that, right? Those are the things that you're not going to check boxes for, but they're experiential and they're going to be remembered. It will be like, oh, remember when we went to that place and we sat around the fire for hours and we talked about things that we hadn't talked about forever? That was so nice. We felt so connected. This is, again, like Colin and I just had an experience like this at Bolt Farm Treehouse. They had these Reflect and Connect cards, and it was like, we have not had these conversations without being interrupted by kids in so long. Well, it was so good to talk about our goals and where we were and where we are now. And it was really beautiful. Those are all things that we outline now with our clients. First 10 minutes, what does that look like? Because y'all know in the first 10 minutes, someone is like, I love you or I hate you. And then we outline those signature experiences, and we're telling story around that. When we're marketing that, that's what we're sharing. That's what we're sharing. So I think it's fine that the OTAs have been a checkbox thing, but that is not your brand. So you have to go a step beyond that when you are really taking branding into your own hands, marketing into your own hands. Yeah. And then of course, when you are creating this and when you're thinking about from a marketing side, especially, if we have that fireside experience, that needs to be shown in our imagery, in our video content, right? Not just an empty fire. We've got a story tell there. So go through and really think, okay, I know that our listing is one thing. That's fine. What identity are we reinforcing when we are presenting the brand on social, when we're presenting this brand through email marketing, on our website even? And really think through, instead of going, okay, we've been box checkers. This is the shift of going from, okay, we've been so focused on amenities and this amenity-led thinking mentality, right? You're competing on features. This is what you've been doing. You're competing on features, and therefore you're competing on price. And when you compete on price, you're just honestly, it just feels like a race to the bottom. You're just racing to the bottom. And that is going to result in you burning out and being like, why am I even here anymore? You know what I mean? Like, that's not a fun place to be. But when you are intentional about the branding process and you aren't just using hot tub as branding strategy, okay? When you're really intentional about how you're storytelling, how you're emotionally connecting to that avatar, you're thinking through your perception in the market, you're going to be able to increase your ADR. The reason that Bolt Farm Treehouse can charge $900 for a freaking dome is because of the experience that they've created and the brand that they've built. And if you go and look at their content, even on Instagram, you're going to see them talk about marriage and couples content. They're telling that story. It is not just look how awesome our property is all the time, right? You have to create preference and branding that builds repeat guests, branding that drives direct bookings, branding that therefore increases that ADR. That is what you're doing. And all of that comes back to being intentional with the strategy from the beginning, not just being a box checker. All right. Higher ADR. I hear this all the time. Want to increase my ADR. We've got to get our ADR up. We have all of these amenities, but our ADR isn't higher. Okay, well, you're just competing against all of the other properties that have checked all the same boxes as you. That's what you're doing. Build your own brand. You've probably created something marketable. This is where I actually had someone in the space, Matt Stillman, who I very much respect and admire. He shared with me once, he said, Steph, I feel like what you're teaching is the last thing that hosts can actually compete on in this space because everyone is trying to outdesign each other. That property adds a hot tub. Suddenly every other property around it adds a hot tub. They're all out trying to out amenity each other, etc. And you guys, this isn't to say like there are some really cool amenities as well that totally tie into the experience and are very marketable, but you have to lead the story on that. But anyway, Matt was like, I feel like marketing is where people can compete still. And there's room in that before that gets super saturated as well. But those that are figuring out marketing on their own and building their brands are going to be ahead of others because they are able to command those higher rates. It's like Bull Farm Treehouse, Cliffs at Hocking Hills. There's a number of different examples that we could think of in this hospitality space who are driving those higher ADRs because they've been so intentional in going through the entirety of the branded experience, down to the welcome cards, down to the things that you're never going to check a box for. One of our clients, we have been working on their brand strategy process. It's a micro resort located in Panama City, Florida. And the property was formerly owned by a woman who immigrated here from Hungary. She's amazing, phenomenal. She's phenomenal. She's been here for, I don't know, I think she's in her 80s, actually. She is a wildly talented artist. And so for one of the touch points in the first 10 minutes experience that we outlined for this brand, these welcome cards that have one of her paintings on them. On the back has a note that's like, welcome to Teresa, et cetera, brand language. And then also we're including another one that has a stamp on it. It's like, go send this to someone that you're thinking of while you're here. So the marketing opportunity there is massive because now someone else is going to also hear about Teresa. And it feels like this very intentional, thoughtful, curated, branded experience, right? And those are things that you're not going to check boxes, but they certainly do make somebody feel something. And that's what I think we have to think about too. Not just what amenities can I compete on, what experience can I compete on, and how am I carefully crafting that so that not only do my guests want to come back, they want to share this experience and it's worth paying for. It's worth paying more for because of what I'm getting. And this is where hospitality is going, you guys. We are going all in on experiential stays and experiential hospitality. And this is not just about a cool build or having these things that we don't already have at our homes. It's really going, how are we connecting the dots to make our guests feel so connected and so loyal to us that this is the place that they want to come back to, or our brand is the one that they trust to make their vacation decisions, no matter what market they may find themselves in. And that is what I'm going to be diving deep into on day one of STR Marketing Simplified this week. So again, free 3-day workshop that is kicking off today. If you haven't registered and saved your seat, please do. So it's like a little taste, a little snippet into that. And I'm very excited to see you on the inside. So please be sure to join me today. If you're listening to this after the fact, That's okay. I hope this episode was helpful, and I'm sure that I have many more podcasts that you can listen to. So, we're going to be diving deep into positioning, into the property narrative, into simplifying marketing this week and making it easy for you to see that funnel and how you can drive those direct bookings and increase your ADR without feeling like it's a race to the bottom on the OTAs. All right. I will see you inside of STR Marketing Bootcamp. Cheers.